Thunder, like you've never imagined.
Good morning, welcome back to American Truck Simulator. I'm David Steele and here's me truck. And today, as you can see on the screen, we're doing a trip to Wenatchee, which I believe is the biggest cheese producing city in the world. That's a complete lie, but we're going to take 33,000 pounds, and our weapon of choice today, our truck of choice, is Rush Hour's Ford CL 9000. Now, the mod is available, I think it's called a CLT 9000. As I understand, the CL is the day cab of the Ford range, and the CLT is the sleeper version. We have here today a standard day cab. There is an extra short day cab, and I was so sorely tempted to drive that for potentially obvious reasons if you know that Sandy considers herself to be short. But we're not in that today. We're in the standard day cab.
Can you even reach?
I've modelled the specification of this day cab to be as close to the 1998 spec or base spec as I can. That means it's got a Cummins L10 270 Formula under the hood, and an E10 or a Fuller. Let me see if I get this right. An 11609A transmission. As a 9-speed, they're going to handle 1150 foot-pounds of torque. This engine produces just over 650, so there's no issue there. And I'm using a 3.7 final drive. Now the Formula engine is, it's Cummins economy version, I suppose you might say. So it doesn't have the full 2100 RPM governor. I think it's 1800 revs in this in 270 spec. And the long and short are this direct drive 9-speed. It gives me a governed speed of somewhere close to sort of 55. It might be slightly higher, it might be something like 58, but it's not a fast truck. And it's not got that much power, and it's not got that much torque, and so it needs shorter gearing. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start it up. So, engine today is provided by the Steel Productions engine pack. This engine does come with the engine pack. It's if it doesn't support the Ford CL 9000 when I produce this video, it will by the time you're watching this. Let's jump in the cabin. This is a beautiful truck. I'm going to go ahead and open the window just to show you something. Window opens to about halfway down. The other side does it too. Well, no, yeah, you can just see it. Okay, let's go ahead and close it. Yeah, so this is a beautiful truck. It's modelled. We have a shifter that looks like a 15-speed shifter. We've got all the switches. They are pretty much functional. I'm not going to fiddle with all of them because, hey, I've got a trip to do here. But yeah, it's functional switches. I like old trucks. There's only one little thing that isn't quite perfect, and that is that the tachometer appears to not be calibrated correctly. Now, I did speak to Rush Hour about this, and he is looking into it. So this engine's going to show, like, it'll do 2100 RPM. I'm going to be using the 9-speed in automated mode today, so what that means is the transmission's going to take care of itself. Right, well, you know what, without further ado, let's go ahead and make like a tree and get out of here. So the route I've chosen today is going to be nice and hilly. Oh, it probably helps if I connect up the wagon. There we go. Look at that, it's amazing how much better it works when I connect it. Right, so I think my engine's cold. Yes, it is cold right now. Now, before we do, let's just take a look at these instruments with you. So we have 8 small gauges across the top, only 6 are visible, and a tacho and a odometer and speedometer on the bottom. So from the left, the pyrometer, how hot the exhaust is going. I believe the next one is engine oil temperature, but that's not really visible. Oil pressure, it's currently showing 35. I'm guessing that's PSI. So volts, great, it's normal. Water, it's warming up. I mean, I'm guessing that's, it's still pretty cool. Fuel, got a full tank. And next, I don't know what is actually showing under there. So never mind. And the final gauge on the right is the is air pressure today. So the tachometer, like I say, it appears to be overreading, and the speedometer cunningly circled 55 because back in the 80s that was your speed. I won't be able to go much quicker than this. So on the right hand side, we've got transmission temperature, a manifold pressure. I think it's a pressure or is it suction? Either way, and an analog clock. And as you can see, it's literally just gone 3:45 in the morning. All right, let's get back on the job. Now this is a World of Trucks trip. Yep, so I've got 22 hours of real world time. Not gonna be a problem today. It's what I wanted to drive. This is a truck that I will be taking it steady, and I think it's fair to say. And that's because even at full power, it's really not very quick. Now I haven't hauled with this exact specification. I've hauled with a taller final drive, and it was okay. And it was no great shakes. But what are my expectations? With this shorter gearbox, I'm expecting it to feel a lot more spunky. Where's this train? There we are. Is that an Amtrak? No, it's a freight train. Sounds like a tornado, right? I hope this isn't the train that stops at the covers the railway line, or covers the railroad crossing, I believe it's known as. No, it's not. Okay. Alright. Let's go. Now, one of the reasons why I used a shorter final drive is this is a small engine and it doesn't have the most torque off the line. It's not bad. I mean, it'll get you going. But I wasn't sure what kind of cargo I'd be using today, and I really didn't want to find the thing just struggle to move off from rest on even a slight gradient. Thankfully, it's quiet at nearly 4 AM. Although he snuck up from nowhere. Okay. So a direct drive 9-speed has been interesting because, I mean, practical sense, it's not that really different from having an 8-speed. You don't have a splitter like you do a 13 or an 18-speed, or for that matter a 15-speed, I suppose. But instead, you've got a fairly simple-to-use transmission. Let's get it accelerating. I love how this game looks at night. We're hardly accelerating quickly, but that's okay. Yeah, so it's showing I'm changing up at 1900 revs, but that's more like sort of 16 to 1700 revs, I believe. Oh, somebody didn't adjust his ride height back to normal. Not that much point in using main beam. So I've not got cruise control on right now, which means the transmission is doing its whole adaptive thing. This engine has the progressive shift pattern programmed into it, and it works fairly well, although with just 9 forward gears, it's not as obvious as, say, with an 18-speed. And yes, an 18-speed is absolutely tempting with this kind of engine and this kind of load, but decided I would just stick with what comes with the truck as base model from Ford. Oh. Am I going to follow the 10-second rule? No, I think I'm good. Okay. So it actually got up to speed pretty well there. I mean, I'm at full power right now because there's a bit of a gradient on the way up. But, well, I was about to say, but it's doing okay. Yeah, it's losing speed already. Possibly in 7th gear. Let's take a look. Might be in 6th now. Yeah. Excuse me. So we'll see if it wants to hold 6th gear at what, 17 miles an hour? I'm already holding up traffic. Let's go ahead and tell them that we're, like they don't know, but tell them that we know we're moving slowly. I suspect that there's not much we can really do about the speed going up a hill. It's not a powerful truck. I'm almost at 25 though. Okay, so it's showing nearly 2300 RPM, and that's more like 1800. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to shift up. Okay, this is going to let me do it, but is it going to hold the next gear? I do believe it is. Okay. I mean, you would not accuse this of being a speedy truck, but if in the mid to late 80s and you had to do some hauling and you wanted to buy an inexpensive as possible truck, you're going to get a base spec model. Or if you're in the game and you want to buy a truck for your employees, the little secret to the game's mechanic here is they don't care what specification truck they've got. They will earn you just as much in a truck like this as it will in a Kenworth W900 with a 625 horsepower cat. They will earn you just as much. So you may as well save a bit of money when you spec one out and go for the cheaper options. If you're going to drive it yourself and you want to do some long haul distance, then you might not want to do that. Well, all things said and done, I think that this truck is handling the road as well as I would hope it would. Now, there's no time limit here other than 22 hours of real world time, and if this video lasts 22 hours, I've gone wrong somewhere. But, so there's no time pressure there. I off the power a little bit. It's a little jerky. It's a typical kind of cab over, in the sense that the center of gravity is a little high, and it's a little sensitive to steering input, especially when you're kind of getting to the edges of adhesion, of grip. But I mean, I am holding up traffic, but I don't feel like I'm a complete liability on the road. I stopped my cruise to do 55. We'll see if it actually gets there. It should do eventually on the flat, but one of the things with these older trucks and the shorter gearing is, well, one, a lot of them were made to cruise at or close to their governor. Now, in the 70s, definitely. As we go into the 80s, the oil crisis meant that some manufacturers were starting to fit taller gearing. The Formula 270 is an attempt to sort of curb the fuel consumption of the truck, or trucks in general. And yes, it helps. Just by limiting your revs, you prevent the driver from using the full 2100 RPM. And that last 200 to 300 RPM on the rev range is quite a big increase in fuel consumption. So that's useful. But the downside is, the truck is less flexible. If you want to accelerate through the gears and you're going up a gradient, you either sit at the governor in the lower gear, or you try and change up at your governor and you get a lower engine speed in the next gear. Not such a big deal if the next gear has enough power to get you up the hill, and so that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of these flat power curves coming in, where if you change up at 2100 revs and your engine's then maybe doing 1600 revs, you've got close to the same power in both gears. Advantage of that approach, it makes the engine feel more powerful than it really is, and it discourages drivers to hold on to those higher engine speeds because there's no benefit. It's not really going any quicker. Bring my speed down, speaking of going quicker. Okay. It's coming up to 6 AM and I won't wake everyone up in this little village. So let's slow down before we reach it. There we go. And see if that helps. So I've got to turn left here, or what looks like a stop sign. But what's this? Is this an emergency vehicle up ahead? It's like it's a few. It wasn't me. I get so bored of hearing that to the emergency or to the police. Oh, I think someone's being busted. Did they have a collision? No, that looks like a proper bust. And I don't know what to explain to that trucker, but he's not fazed by it. Is he wearing cuffs? I don't know. And there's cops sitting in the cars, and oh, well, clearly there's a Prius there. Maybe they were trying to rob. Maybe they were trying to truck jack. Anyway, we've been here for long enough, and there's people behind me waiting. I'm surprised no one's honked the horn at me. So I really want to go because, A, it's quiet right now on the roads. That won't last forever. Okay. If we can get up to the speed limit of 60, actually no, I'm not going to try and get up to 60, as we probably will only do so down a hill, because I'm pretty sure that exceeds my governor. And I don't need to prove anything, like how mad we are. But if I give it full power, we hear a bit more whistle coming from the turbocharger, so hey, what's not to like there? I don't expect fuel consumption to be especially bad on this trip. Not so much because we're not working the engine hard, which we clearly are, but because there simply isn't enough power to burn all that much fuel. Alright, well, I got my cruise down up at 50 because we're coming to a 50 limit, and I got a feeling it drops a little bit. There's the speed limit. Plus there's a right hand corner here which recommends 40. That's good, I'm doing 40. Still in top gear. Easy around here. Oh, traffic lights. Let's go ahead and use a bit of service brake. I don't particularly want to wake everyone up with my engine brake. This is a loud engine brake. Hey, light went to green. Back on the power. Would like to catch this before it turns back to red. Okay, great. It's still pretty quiet. What day of the week is it? It's a Wednesday. A Wednesday at 7 AM. You'd think there'd be people on the roads by now. You'd think. It's a train. Train's not very exciting, and all these car drivers behind me are being very patient, as I know I'm holding them up. Okay, there's only 2 of them. I thought there were more. They must have turned off. Probably took a longer alternative route because it's quicker than waiting for me. But here we are up to 50 and then back up, setting the cruise up to 55. We're out-dragging a train right now. Well, this is pretty cool. I dare say the train's gonna ultimately win because, well, it might not. Get my windows down, see if we can hear the train. Not really. I think the train's doing about 45. Because we are surprisingly overhauling it at quite some lick. And yeah, we're getting a bit of angle at angle when we go around corners, but it's keeping itself on the road. I mean, it's a low-powered 10-liter engine, and it's got us moving along. See if I can manage to go around this corner without completely messing it up. Yeah, I just daren't. I'm not very good at third-person driving in this game. I'm not much better in other games. We'll try it though. Yeah, that's pretty though. It's the reason why I wanted to take this trip, as it is. Yeah, I'm all over the road. I can't do that. Sorry, everyone. I wish I could. Oh, I'm speeding. No, I'm not. The limit's 60. I misread it. I'm very surprised that we're able to keep to 55. And I get that it's close to the governor and the engine's producing plenty of power relative to its output, but this is, all things considered, this is a very pleasant speed to cruise at. The engine's got plenty of go if you come to a hill. Again, relative to what it's got else, you know, lower down in the engine speed range. Over the Columbia River. Troll! That's because trolls live under bridges, right? It's letting the cruise do its thing. There's really not much involvement from me other than occasionally steering the wheel. If this were a sleeper, I could go in the back and use some string on the steering wheel, but oh, it was this roadworks or construction work. Hoping the light would have just gone to green, but evidently not. There's a Prius there. Oh, looks like my brakes have got a little faded, even though I was using the engine brake. Hello, Prius. Oh, I braked too soon. Oof, look at that. My bad. There isn't one behind me, at least. Get it in gear. That was awkward. I honked that girl to say, "Oh, get a move on, love," and she did, and there's me not going anywhere. She's driving a bit erratically though. Yeah, I probably don't want to get too close to her. I've already upset her by what's that term from Days of Thunder in NASCAR? From rubbing. Yeah, rubbing is racing. Yeah, I'm not racing her. Clearly it's a complete lack of no contest, because it's a Prius versus a heavy-duty truck. And she's turned off. What's my fuel at? I mean, this gauge is weird. I can't even see it when I do that. Great. Let's try it now. Okay, I mean, it's not quite at 3/4, but it's used a little bit of fuel. It's got a 150-gallon tank, or pair of tanks, 275-gallon units. So if with 3/4, that's what, 115, I think, roughly. It is 2 tanks, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Ready to turn right.
Those tiny little tanks on the side of the truck. Right. I mean, it's yeah, it's kind of bare at the side, isn't it? There's not much there. Oops. See what I mean by like driving third person? Well, that truck's obviously fine. But yeah, there's did I damage my truck? No. It was just a little scuff. Yeah, it's pretty bare on the side. We've got I'm guessing that's an air cylinder for the brakes and a tank on each side. Is it an air cylinder? I think it's to do with the braking. I think the truck's funkiest feature. Well, I'm still tickled by seeing a Ford. Like, come on, get in your lane. by seeing a Ford logo on a Class A truck. I think that's epically cool. I like the dashboard layout. I think this is very functional. Yes, I would like maybe a different steering wheel, but in the real world I'd move my head and it would be fine. And it's got good visibility. I mean, I can see very... Oh, it's got a rear window as well. That's not so useful. But I've got plenty of visibility around me.
Turn left.
Okay, unfortunately, I'm going to miss this light, but I think I knew that from way back. Little orange engine poking out. Well, see, little, yeah. And I don't suppose. And I don't actually know if the engines change depending on the engine that you use. They may do. I suspect they don't, but they may do. So, yeah, I like some of the detailing there. Let's look at this view here. There's not much to see, unfortunately, with the wheel cam. But yeah, I think it's a nice model. Exhaust wise, you've got a reasonable choice. I went with a stock single. You can have a stock double. You can have something like 6 or 7 choices. It didn't really feel right to have a honking great big double open pipe exhaust on a 10-litre engine with just 270 horsepower. But you know, now I think about it, it would make complete sense because you're going to hear it a lot because you're going to be working it hard. So actually, maybe I should have done that. Benefit of hindsight and all that. Well, we're close to our destination, but we've got to loop back on ourselves here. Are we climbing or do we descend? I think we descend to go under the street. I wonder what's down there. Yeah, let's not find out today. Yep, we are descending. We may have to use the engine brake just to... Oh, I think we're going to be okay. Right, well, I am close to the end of my trip. Just a brief little foray to show off the Ford CL9000. I've known about this mod truck for a little time. I found out about it because of the power liner, which, there we go, was really a truck that kind of needed, or it was built with the 12V92 Detroit diesel, I believe. That's the V12, but an option was the Cummins KT, was the 19-litre 600 horsepower Cummins KT. And if you followed my channel, you'll know that that's been an engine in the engine pack for a time. There's nothing wrong with installing that engine in a variety of trucks, but I really felt I ought to put the engine into the power liner. Well, of course, that meant I had to buy it. Okay. So yeah, I may well prepare a video on that at some point in the coming days. But I gotta say, I'm kind of tickled with this little Ford. I love its 80s vibes going on here, and I'm gonna make a mess of this, but I just want to show you how nimble these small day caps are. The super short is something else. It's tiny, but even the normal day cap is very maneuverable. I'm gonna make a mess of this though. I'm pretty sure of it. Why? Well, if you've watched my channel, you'll know exactly why. Okay. Thank goodness it's got power steering, right? Am I going to make this work? No. No, this is me. I never make these things work first time. A bit of wiggling around, but that's actually real close. to making it work. Dang, David. You did it. You actually did it. You actually got it first go. I think I want to move it forward a little bit here. Game says I don't need to, but I kind of want to just a little bit. That'll do me. Well, there you have it. I did not expect to manage to do that pretty much in one. I think the shunt backwards and forwards is probably going to be acceptable, because I mean, who doesn't have to do that when they... Okay, shut up. If you don't have to do that, then yeah, just leave some positive feedback instead. So yeah, okay. Well, it's supremely agile. It's a nice quality truck. It's a nice quality mod. I like the interior, and that 9-speed direct drive transmission may well be coming to the production engine pack soon. But at this point, I'm getting close to needing to do a transmission pack. As it happens, we did 185 miles and we used just over 29 gallons, which means we got about 6.2, 6.3 miles per gallon, which for a mountainous road, given us having to work it hard with such short gearing, I'm happy with. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you have, you know what to do, and thanks so much for hanging out. Stick around. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much, everyone. Goodbye.